Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here as I hit live in all the places. So give me just a moment. All this stuff. Wait a minute. Something's talking to me. There we go. Let me mute that. All right. So let me pull this up on my phone. And like I said, as you get here, make sure you say hello and let me know that you're here. Get here, make sure you say hello. And getting it all set up. Takes just a minute, so I appreciate you bearing with me on it. Let me do one more thing. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I'm excited to be here with you guys this morning. And as always, there were things that were going through my mind during the night, and then I wake up and there's this thought. But last night, good morning, Wendy. Last night it was funny. I went to bed and I was just drifting off to sleep, and suddenly this quote from Zig Ziglar came in my head. And then this idea of what I wanted to talk about this morning. So I got out of the bed, came in here, wrote stuff down, and then went to bed. And this morning when I woke up, I thought, I know I wrote something down. What was it? But I could not think of it. And then when I came in my office, I'm one of those people, I have a lot of papers right here, right? So I have this notebook and this notebook, and then there's another notebook. And I'm looking, where did I write that thing that I wanted to talk about this morning? And I found it in this, like, see this page here? It was just right here at the very bottom. And it took me a few minutes to find it, but I found it and created the affirmation and journal prompt for it. But it was interesting. And I'll share the quote with you in just a few minutes. But before I do, how are you guys doing this morning? And I see that I would just want to remind everybody, make sure you say hello. Let me know that you're here. So how are you doing this morning, Wendy? There's such a delay sometimes. Let me check over on what's going on over here. Well, you said good morning, so I'm assuming that means it's good, right? Beautiful sunny day, doing great. Ooh, fantastic. I love the thumbs up too. It is getting sunny here and feeling nice. So regardless of what the weather was like, I'm happy to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and share this affirmation really quick. And I apologize for having to clear my throat, but there's sinus stuff happening in the house. Give me just a second. All right. So our affirmation for today is, I embrace the beauty of my life just as it is, letting go of expectations and trusting the journey to unfold in its own perfect way. Now, one of the reasons is because the quote that was coming through my mind last night when I went to bed was, like I said, from Zig Ziglar. And his quote was, don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. And so I had that in my mind, because I had caught myself saying something yesterday, not too long before I went to bed. Man, I wish this part was easier. And so when I went to bed, that was the quote that came in my mind. And it reminded me that easier is not always better, because and we've talked about this many times, right? And you can let me know if you agree or you disagree. So if you agree, put a 1. If you disagree, put a 2. But the thing is that it's all the trials and tribulations along the journey that teach us all the things that we need to learn. Hold on, let me see what this says. We just had a change in our cruise ship in Europe, had medical emergency delays, return to Miami. We won't leave until Sunday. Wow. Okay. Well, I hope whatever that medical emergency is goes really well. I've been on a cruise before where we ended up having to go and dock somewhere for a medical emergency, and then they would had to flight them somewhere. But I never heard, how it went or what happened to the person or anything. But if I remember right, and I could be wrong, I think it was a heart attack or something. And they were trying to get them very quickly to someplace. Anyway, so and it's one of those things like, maybe there's a reason, and I'm sure that's why you put that in there. Maybe there's a reason that it needs to be delayed till Sunday. Maybe that is better suited to your life and you don't even know it. And so, like I'm saying, is that it's the things that come up, whether we can see it in the moment or not, are redirects. They are changing our journey so that things go better, or that we learn exactly what we need for that thing so that we don't end up repeating something. And a lot of times we're looking for, like I said, ways for things to be easier, because that feels like that would be the better thing in that moment, right? But the learning that we're going to get through the process means that we're going to have much better growth, much better feeling and confidence, and it's going to create something in us that would not have been possible without it. And so wishing things were easier, not the right way to go, right? But we all fall into it. And I know all this stuff. But yesterday, I still said, oh, I wish that was easier. But I caught myself. And then I said, oh, that's not what I really want. What I want is things to turn out however is the best thing for everybody involved, which is very different than saying, I wish things were easier, right? It's a change beyond our control, yes. But things that are directing us somewhere, they're usually a change beyond our control. It is a happenstance of a car accident, or of somebody doing something to derail what we're doing, or there's so many things that show up that in the moment feels totally out of our control. And it really, if you, depending on how you look at it, it really is. There are rules of thumbs that say it's not. However, it is there for a purpose. I think we can all agree on that, right? Things always happen for a reason. Yes, it has a purpose, and we cannot always see it in the moment. And interestingly enough, the purpose for you and the other people on the ship that are delayed, or the people that are scheduled to go on your cruise, they're all delayed, but each one of them has a different purpose that comes from it, right? Can't wait to see how this unfolds. Yes, yes. And so it's releasing our expectations of how it's all going to turn out, because that is where the stress comes in. We get stressed because we're anxious about how things are going to happen, because we have a certain expectation of how that's supposed to pan out. And then when things don't look exactly like we were imagining, envisioning, or expecting, then we get anxious that something's wrong, or that we're not going to hit our targeted journey. So all of these things that we create within our mind that creates anxiety is all because we have expectations of how it's supposed to happen, right? Let's see. For us, it's easy. Too bad for people who have to change all their arrangements. I'm sure it's not as easy, right, to have to redo everything. But, who knows? Maybe somebody that can't redo everything and it's not their fault, they get all their money back and they give them a special thing for the next time. And then now they can take an even better cruise. Who knows, right? I've been on one of the cruises that I was on. I had a terrible problem because I had a roommate that I didn't know, and she was fine, but they put us in a room that I couldn't get any sleep in it because it was so close to the engine room that there was this vibration in the room that I could not sleep. My teeth were chattering. And she and I both went to the purser's desk. We talked to them, and they said that they would look into it. And I spent time trying to be away from the room. So sometimes in the middle of the day, I would lay out on a deck chair and try to get a nap. During that particular cruise, there were several different excursions that we went on that I slept through the whole damn thing because I was exhausted because I wasn't getting any sleep, right? And so what ended up happening was I still had fun because there were times everything was great. And I did get to go on those excursions. I did get to see these places, but I was tired. And finally, we had someone who came up to the room to check it out because we complained every single day. Now, this was only a 7-day cruise. So we complained. And I think on the 4th day, somebody came up to check out the room. It took them that long. And when they did, the woman said, "Oh, this is intense." And I said, "Sit on the bed, get the full feel of it." And she sat on the bed and she said, "Oh, this is totally unacceptable." And I said, "That's what we've been talking about." And so they moved us to a much better room. In the beginning, they told us there were no other rooms, but anyway, we got a different room, which was even better than the one we had. So we had 2 days in that room, if I'm remembering right, before we left the ship, right? And those were the most glorious sleep that I had. And then, but the interesting thing was all of that was not good, right? But I still had an enjoyable time on the ship. But they gave us, both of us, a special credit that we could use on our next cruise. And I don't even remember how much it was, but it was a pretty significant amount, which made the next cruise even more affordable. And so, the way I looked at it was a little bit of not sleeping and still having fun was okay. Now I've got this amount of money that is going toward the next cruise and I'm good. Right? So who knows what comes up from all the stuff that happens? You just don't know. And we don't know what we don't know, right? So just like Zig Ziglar says, don't wish things were easy, wish you were better. And so that really ties into a lot of business stuff because I've heard from a lot of people recently that are part of different programs that I'm in, that this is hard and I want to do this way. And so I'm really, really grabbing this for myself and hopefully for others that need it, that don't wish it were easier, wish it were better, right? So that means I embrace the beauty of my life just as it is. I accept things just as they are. Letting go of all the expectations, trusting the journey to unfold in its own perfect way. Because that just relaxes you into a comfortable place of knowing it's all going to work out. Everything is going to work out as long as I follow my intuition, as long as when I get this inner guidance to make an action that I do it. As long as I'm following the guidelines that I set out that I wanted to do, as long as I'm doing the process, If there's a detour, fantastic, right? Ooh, a different way to do it. Who knows what gold lies in those hills there, right? I mean, it can be the most amazing journey you've ever had in your life if you allow it to, as you're going through all of this time right now. And it's embracing the beauty of your life just as it is. That releases so much stress and anxiety from people because, like I said, the stress and the anxiety that people feel, maybe you feel, sometimes I feel, is because of expectations not going exactly as we had planned. And what is it they say? Oh gosh, what is the saying? Tell God your plans and watch what happens. I don't remember. What is the saying? Somebody knows it. If you want to see God laugh, I think that's it. Tell God your plans. Because it's like, and y'all correct me, anybody that knows that phrase, because I don't, all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. But the thing is that a lot of times we get into this idea of what we want, but we envision it step by step by step by step. And that's great for goal setting and for getting a little bit of direction. And as long as we're allowing our intuition to guide us into all those steps, the thing is that if we're too tied to exactly what we think is supposed to happen, that's where we get stressed because it ain't going to happen that way. Man plans, God laughs. Oh, that's it. Because one of the things that Abraham Hicks said one time that really I thought, oh, that's just gold. It's just beautiful. Is that, if the destination was the enjoyment thing, then it would just be if our destination, let's say, how did she put it? If we're going on vacation and the true part of our destination is to get to where we're wanting to go, right? And then to get back home. That is our true destination, right? And so if the actual destination was the only thing that was beneficial, we would just never go anywhere because the journey was not important. But when we think about it, and I'm misquoting her, I am sure. However, that's the gist of it. The thing is that it is the travels and the people that we meet and the things that we see. And can you imagine you're getting to where you want to go and you've had on blinders the whole time? If you've not been able to see a doggone thing, none of the beauty, none of the travels to get there, because it's the journey to where you want to go that creates all the amazing memories, not just where you go to, right? Because, like, for instance, Wendy's going to be going on that cruise, and so she's got certain destinations that she's going to. So but the thing is that being on the ship on the way to the first destination is fun. It is full of memories. Otherwise, you would be on a plane going to that destination. That's okay. Let's have fun there. Let's go here. Let's go there. It is the journey that creates so much joy, so much learning, even though a lot of times, like I've said so many times before, opportunities show up as obstacles more times than not. And when you can embrace beauty of what is right here, right now, and letting go of expectations, you know that each one of those opportunities, whether they show up as amazing things or obstacles, they're part of the journey. And it's just, I love this journey that I'm on. right? All right, so now I'm gonna grab the journal prompt for you. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Let me see. Hopefully all of that shows up. Yay! All right, so our journal prompt for today is, what expectations am I ready to release to fully enjoy the magic of my life as it is? So where are you getting stressed and anxious about certain expectations of how your week's going to go, how your day's going to go, how a conversation's going to go, how a meeting's going to go? Where do you have expectations that are causing you some type of anxiety, stress? Because when we can see what we're doing and then be ready and willing to release those expectations, then we can fully enjoy the magic of our life just as it is. Because life is magical. One of the best things that happened to me today is I woke up, right? And you did too if you're here. Blessing, 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 right? Because not everybody did. So what are your expectations for your day? Do you have a meeting, or are you working, or whatever it is that you have this expectation of exactly how it's supposed to pan out? And sometimes we rehearse all the bad things. We had a conversation with someone, it didn't go so well, and the next time we want to have a conversation with them, we're rehearsing exactly what happened the last time in our minds, expecting it to go the same way and wanting to be so prepared with our responses. However, if you had a conversation that went really bad the last time and you're going to be talking to them today or tomorrow or next week, whatever it is, change the expectations. Start expecting it to become totally different. And I shared the story of me rehearsing going to a luncheon that had been always something just really triggered me. And yet once I rehearsed it how I wanted it to go, or rehearsed it being a more pleasant experience, it changed. Because as we're looking at our life, the only thing that we have complete control over, if we choose to, is us. And so by looking at what are the expectations that I have right now that maybe I should relook at, right? I can't wait to see how they change our itinerary. Yes, beautiful. It's going to be so fun, however it changes. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for everybody else that is scheduled for that one too. Now it gets exciting, yeah, because everybody that is scheduled for that ship is making this pivot. And the ones that are releasing the expectations are having a heck of a lot more fun in the process than those that are stressing over the fact that it changed. Because what is it we say all the time? The only thing constant in life is change. It's constantly changing. And we get to be excited about it. Doesn't that feel better to be excited that things are changing, right? So then how can embracing the unknown make the journey even richer? It's by just completely allowing. It's like, I've shared before that for the holidays or for my birthday, sometimes people will say, well, what do you want? And I say, well, surprise me. Because I've had the experiences before of telling somebody what I wanted. And I know this is probably silly to some of you guys, but anyway, bear with me. But I've told people what I wanted. And then I found out later that they had something in their mind that they were going to get me. And because I asked for that particular thing, they didn't get it for me. They got the thing I asked for, but what they were going to get, hadn't even considered. And it was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had let them decide on their own. So I prefer to say, surprise me, because I know that they'll either get exactly what I want or they'll get something that I hadn't even considered that would be amazing. And that's how our journey is, right? Our journey on this whole process is we have this idea, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly how I want this to happen. But if we let our intuition guide us, God, the universe, to move mountains for us, what we end up with is so much better, right? How many times have you heard people talking about, wow, I had no idea that that would lead to this? And on my podcast, there are so many really amazing stories in the podcast, and sometimes they're really start out like, oh, that's a hard thing to go through. And then they get to this talking about, well, now I'm here and I'm so happy that I'm here. And I never would have gotten here if that hadn't happened. Now, you don't have to have a catastrophe happen to change your trajectory if you're listening, because I like to say that when something is amiss and you need to make a pivot, there's a little whisper that comes in your ear that says, let's do this just a little bit different, change this. And you don't do it. So it gets a little bit louder, and then it gets a little uncomfortable, and it gets a little bit louder, and it gets a little uncomfortable. And if you're not paying attention, finally it ends up being a baseball bat. And then you're down and out and you've got to change, right? And so I say, when there's a whisper of turn right instead of left, do it. See what happens, right? Let's see, what does this say? I'm excited. I have to work on Seth. I get it. That's too funny, Wendy. So I want you to be thinking about, where in your life are you stressing over the destination? Where in your life are you stressing over the journey? And then start looking at it with a different lens. We have our lens of the world, right? And, the thing is, we have the 50 billion bits of information coming at us per second. There's so much happening all the time that we don't see, because we would go bonkers if we did, right? I feel like a lot of people that are in the mental hospitals, it's just that they cannot filter out to where there's only 2,000 bits that are coming at them. And there's just no way to process that much information. So that's just my feel of it. That doesn't really mean anything other than to me. So just take that with a grain of salt. Isn't that what they say? But the thing is that when we start focusing on, how is this journey going to be even richer? How is the magic of my life just beautiful, just like it is? How, right? How is this journey going to grow me and send me into this place of, I didn't even know this amount of joy and prosperity and connection could even exist, right? When you're thinking of those things, your 2,000 bits that you're privy to out of the 50 billion changes. And it starts showing you amazing things, people, circumstances that will help you get everywhere that you're wanting to go. But if you're focused on the destination and how exactly it needs to pan out, you're going to miss it. It's not going to be able to get into your vision of the 2000 beds. So you get to decide, you get to choose. All right, so let's go back to our affirmation. I embrace the beauty of my life just as it is. Letting go of expectations and trusting the journey to unfold in its own perfect way. Because when we're there, the information that will be given to us is so profound if we're listening, if we're allowing, right? Now, if you're watching and you want to jump into the conversation, just say hello and share your thoughts. I would love to know what you think of this. Does it feel like this is something that is powerful for you? Or does it feel like it's something that it's like, I don't believe that? Anybody that's willing to join into the conversation, I would definitely welcome it. You don't have to, though. You can stay in the background. That's perfectly okay. Because I know I have people that pop in quite often that may be at work and they're just listening and they can't do anything. And that's, I understand all that. But I would love to hear your take on this. And so if you're not able to do that now, you can do that later. Let's see. What is that? Hi there. Having a hard time with it today. So you're having a hard time with this affirmation and journal prompt? Is that what you're saying? Or is your day hard? I'm just trying to make sure. Gabriella. My mind is in a dark place right now, and it all has to do with managing expectations. Okay. So maybe this is for you then. Things pop into my mind that I need, and then I find that there's a lot of people that need it too. And so, like I said, when you have expectations of exactly how things are going to go, that's where the stress and anxiety comes in, right? And if your mind's in a dark place right now, it all, like you said, is all about your expectations. So is there any way that you can look at your life right now and find things that you're grateful for? Like I said, the best thing that happened to me today is I woke up. Right? And I woke up way before the clock went off. I laid in bed for a little while and snuggled with my covers and petted the cat. And then I got up, went and fixed me a cup of coffee. All of that was good. Okay. So, Gabrielle, start there. Look at the things in your life that you can be grateful for. And just start out with making a list of all of those things. Because those are the things, like it says here, I embrace the beauty of my life just as it is. That means you can make a list of things that you're grateful for and just be, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful, right? I have a roof over my head. I have a running vehicle. I have family and friends. My computer's working. I had no tech issues this morning. And my microphone is working. Facebook is allowing me to do this. So is StreamYard and Instagram. The sun is shining. I remembered, now this is one that's you're going to think is kind of silly, but I remembered last night to take the trash out to put it in the front yard so that at the driveway so that the trash man would pick it up because I forgot last week. So I'm really grateful that I remembered that, and I don't have a trash bin that's just so full that I can't put things in it. So sometimes you have to stretch to find things that maybe to other people wouldn't feel like a blessing or something that they're grateful for. I remember there was a time, and when because there was a time that I really struggled with a lot of this stuff. And so if that's you, then what I did at that time was I had a journal that sat by my bed, and it was on my gratitude journal. And when I went to bed at night, I wrote down 5 things that I was grateful for that had happened in my day. And then in the morning when I got up, I did it again. 5 things that I'm grateful for right now. So one of them was I woke up, and I usually waited till I got my first cup of coffee before I wrote in it. And so it was the coffee was good. I actually had milk to put in my coffee. So just find things that you're grateful for and start there. If this is too big a stretch, start there. And then as you start getting a little bit more into the flow of how much in your life you have to be grateful for. And I've shared this before. I have a niece, and she's actually in the group, and she has muscular dystrophy. So she cannot roll over in the bed by herself. She has to ask her husband to roll her over. Can you roll over in the bed? She can't sit up by herself. Can you sit up by yourself? Do your legs work? Do your eyes work? Do your ears work? Does your mouth work? I mean, there are so many things to be grateful for that other people do not have. I never implemented journaling. I should. Well, if you don't want to implement journaling, I mean, journaling is really good. And part of the reason is because when you write things out, your brain interprets things differently. So you're having a better connection with your brain and your heart. But if it's something that's going to hold you back, I don't like to journal. If you have a phone that has a voice note, make a voice note. Start wherever you are and just begin, because the main thing is that you express gratitude for what you have. What tool you use to do that doesn't matter. Start where you are, because it's a journey. And I didn't wake up like this from nothing. I've been doing this for a while. And so I have grown leaps and bounds in the past year, 2 years, as I've been going through this process. And I've been doing this for a very, very long time. But it's almost like, the snowball that catches, more snow as you're going down, as it goes downhill. It's a little bitty ball in the beginning, and you roll it down a big enough hill, and it's going to be a huge, huge ball when it gets to the bottom, right? So I liken this journey of that. I started with a little tiny snowball. It was being grateful for my coffee and the fact that I woke up. And sometimes I had to stretch to find other things. I remember somebody recommended one time that you couldn't use the same, if you were grateful for your coffee one day, you couldn't say you were grateful for it the next day. And I thought, well, that's stupid. Right now, that's about the only thing I can think of. And so I just kept doing it however it worked for me. So your little bitty snowball, you start today with doing a voice note, whatever it is, but you want to make sure that you're logging it somewhere, right? And so you get your little snowball started, and every day that you use these tools and inspirations and the journal prompts, and every time that you use these, your snowball gets just a touch bigger. It's at the top of the hill and it's beginning to come down. And then over time, it becomes to where you can be grateful for so many things that it's just the expansion of it is mind-blowing sometimes. The growth that you can have from this little tiny snowball that you start today. And I hope that helps you today. Because I can tell you, when I first began on this journey, that's where I was, the little tiny snowball, about the size of a marble, to be honest with you. So I hope that helps. There are journal programs, and you could use voice notes. Yes. Yeah, I use my voice notes when I go walking and everything, because I'll have ideas of things that I want to do or remember, and then I can't remember it when I get home. So I'll pick up my phone and do a voice note really quick. So if that's how you need to do it in the beginning, do that. And then just make sure you save the voice notes and, where you can see them, because as you expand and grow, it's going to be cool to look back and say, "Oh, when I first did this voice note, this first voice note, this is all I could find to be grateful for." And oh man, look at how I feel now, because it's a measuring stick of how you have expanded in your journey. So, for this affirmation, for anybody that wants to use this affirmation, I embrace the beauty of my life just as it is, letting go of expectations and trusting the journey to unfold in its own perfect way. Make sure you put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, the sticky notes, use it as a chalk marker on the mirror. And for Gabriella, as we're talking here right now, the first thing that just popped in my mind is, if you want to put something on a little index card or anything, just put, "I'm getting better. I'm getting better every day," because the only constant in life is change. And we're deciding right now that change is going to be better every day. Because if we're not deciding how that change is, we're actually changing in default and we're sliding backwards. So, good morning, Carmen. Good morning. So, I would love to help you more with that. If you would like to, Gabriella, you can schedule a call with me. Like I am a transformational coach and a hypnotist, and there may be a way that I can help you even more. But if that's not possible for you, then get your little bitty snowball started right here, right now. All right. So then let's go to the journal prompt. So, what expectations am I ready to release to fully enjoy the magic of my life as it is? Now, yes, thank you for that, Wendy. So the what was I about to say? I got so distracted. Sorry. The thing is that I usually recommend is you have a journal or a notebook that you specifically for these affirmations and journal prompts. And Gabriella, if you want to have a notebook that you just write down what the affirmation and the journal prompt is today with the date, and then you don't even do anything with it, you can come back to that later, right? When you feel like that's the right time to do it. So anyway, the reason I like to do that is because, like I just was telling Gabriella, that when you make a list of things and you come back and later and you can look and say, "Oh, that was what was coming up for me now, and look how much I've grown." The only way you know that is by writing this out or having a voice note, because the changes that we create through doing this, it's so imperceptible in the moment, but man, oh man, does it change each and every time. So when you come back and you look later, it's like, wow, look what I was stressed about. Look what expectations I had. And now look where I'm at. So it's a way to see your growth, because a 1% change every single day creates exponential growth. However, in the moment and tomorrow and the next day, are you going to see the difference? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. The thing is that when we make these decisions today, just having this conversation right here, right now, you're changed, right? So the things that you implement in your life right now become your new normal. It's who you are. And then you forget after a while that you ever had the little pea or marble of a snowball that had to start. And so this allows you to see how much you've grown so that you can appreciate the journey with so much more gratitude. You're welcome. You're welcome. So put the affirmation in the journal prompt And then the way I like to um, do this myself, and if you want to adopt this, this would be beneficial, is before you ever write anything down. I mean, you've written down your affirmation in your journal prompt, but before you start filling it in and putting all this stuff in there, take some time to get into silence and just quiet the chatter in your mind and allow yourself to dip into your intuition, your God voice, your subconscious mind. And then when you can get out, when you come out of that silent space where the mind chatter has been not so heavy, and you start writing, it's like there are things that come out of you that you don't expect, because your God voice, your intuition, your subconscious mind, that is going to give you so much information that you probably don't even know is there, because only 12% of what's going on in our lives is our conscious mind. The rest of it, subconscious. And it's logging and taking notes and creating little folders over here and folders over there. And so when you're doing something, it's going, wait a minute, I think I remember something about that. And it's logging back. Let me get that folder out and see, how is this supposed to work out? And so it'll tell you what's going on. And then you can make changes. So then that second part, how can embracing the unknown make my journey even richer? Oof. So I'll ask you this. If you don't know, I want you to take this question with you to fill this out. If you did know, what would the answer be? And then just start writing. You'll be so surprised at what comes up. And I want you to have that level of release, to just let it out, right? All right. So I have enjoyed this immensely, and thank you guys for stepping in and having a conversation with me, because it's so much more fun when there's people having conversations with me. I love it. And as Wendy so eloquently always gives me the closing phrase for the day, and she has not disappointed. So let me real quick before we pop off here, I want to remind you guys that on, what is today, is the 14th. On next Thursday, the 14th at 5 p.m. Eastern, Louise is going to be live in the group, and there's an event that has been created, and she's all about magnetic relationships. So whether that you're looking for a relationship or you're in a relationship, she's going to be talking about how to be magnetic to the right relationship, or change the magnetism that is in the one that you are in. If it's not exactly how you want it to be, at least this is my interpretation of what she told me. So just bear with me. But I'm really excited to hear what all she has to say. And so if you can, please join. And so it's in the events section, you can go in there as often as you want to and check and see what's coming up, because I'll be scheduling. We just had the stand up and stand out party last night, and it was so amazing because the people networked together and we were able to collaborate and help each other with different things. It was really, really powerful. And so if you want to connect with people in that way, I'll be creating another stand up and stand out party. And so keep watching in the events section to see what all is coming up, because you're gonna want to look at it and take advantage of anything that's coming up that resonates with your heart. And anytime I have a special guest coming in, I would love it if you would support them by showing up, just for the mere fact when anybody shows up and there's a lot of support, there are going to be more people that have exactly what you want that are going to want to come into the group and share into you. And they're giving their time and their expertise to help. So if you can be there, please be there. All right. So I will see you. Hold on. Let's see. What does this say? You do this so great. Thank you, Carmen. I appreciate you. I'll sign it for sure. Oh, thank you, Carmen. I love it. I love it. So the thing is that I will be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, and I would love to see each and every one of you here that are here now tomorrow, and bring a friend, right? There's a lot of people in the group. Grab one. And as Wendy so eloquently said, bless your journey today, and I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Mwah.